Happy Thumbs Gaming. Big show.
Hey everybody, it's Brian with Happy Thumbs Gaming. Today we have another LEGO Marvel Avengers video for you. This one happens to be part of the Manhattan Hub, and we're going to actually take on all of the Peggy Carter missions in the free roamage. The reason that we are grabbing all of these in one specific video rather than doing them by areas is because there are 10 missions and they are all kind of sequential. You have to complete number 1 before number 2 will show up, and same with 3, 4, 5, 6, all the way to 10. So we're going to go one by one and knock these missions out. And as you can see, we're going to start right here in the same area we always spawn, right in the middle of Central Park. And what we're going to do is we're actually going to fly up in the air with one of our favorite flying characters, and we're going to actually head back towards the south end of the island and go towards Chinatown. So we're going to turn around and go down, and we're going to fly along this road here. You notice how the side of the park kind of veered off. The road that goes along the side of the park veers off to the left. We're going to follow it all the way down to this giant building, and right in the middle of it on the right-hand side, there's a little side street, and look at that. There's our first Agent Carter mission. Now, like I said, each one of these will spawn after you complete the next one, so make sure you follow along and complete each one before trying to find the next one in line. But this one is pretty simple. She needs us to help her enter an old cafe she used to frequent, and what we're going to do is we're going to slide around the corner and follow her, and basically there is a scan point that needs to be scanned, so we're going to go ahead and do that right about now. And once we scan it, actually reveals some pieces we can build up into a jukebox. And we all know everybody loves to dance. Well, at least that's the theory anyways. And so we're going to go ahead and build this up and give it the old smackaroo like the old Fonzarelli. And once it kicks on, we'll give it the old, hey, look at that. Awesome possum. If I would have stood here long enough, I'm sure Iron Man would have started doing like the robot and the other things he does. But instead, it starts freaking out with his mask. And you know what? It might be an animation for another version of Iron Man. That might be the only character animation that this particular one does. I haven't really gotten into the details on that kind of stuff. But all right, once the guys move away from the door and get their dance on, we're actually going to go up and repair the door, which spins around and lets us inside. Once we can get inside, Agent Carter's going to thank us for our time, and she's going to reward us with a character token, which happens to be for Squirrel Girl Classic. So, oh yeah. And I don't speak Squirrel. Remember when we got the first Squirrel Girl in the last one of the other hubs, Barton Farm Hub, she does a little, squirrel talk. It's all, I don't know. I can't quite do it, but all right, we're simply going to backtrack, head right back down the same road we came down that's going to run right along the side of Central Park, and we're going to follow this road until we get to the dock right by the big lake at Central Park. So here you can see I have stopped. I hit the brakes, and we're going to go ahead and take a right and make our way down the street, and right on the corner on the left-hand side stands Agent Carter. So, yeah. Look at that. We've got another one. This one happens to be, well, let's see here. We have to go and help her fight off some bad guys. So, and then we're going to help her get into this hotel that she wants to get into. So, I don't know what kind of arrangement she's got planned for later, but we're going to help escort her there. And it's really just as simple as taking out the groups of bad guys that show up out of nowhere. You can see them standing on the corner going, come on, let me at them, doing the old, punching their hands, hand in the fist thing. I don't know what you really call that, but they're getting ready to do some bad deeds. You should always treat females with respect, and for some reason they are not treating Miss Carter with any respect. So I'm sure the captain wouldn't be pleased to hear that. But all right, so we're just going to follow around. If she does get out of sight, there is a little silver indicator kind of guiding you back to her. But we're just using Iron Man's rockets and kind of clearing the path of any bad guys we see in our way. And eventually, which we're getting pretty close here, we get her to the front of the Griffith Hotel here. And look at that. She is excited, and luckily for us, she kicks down with a character token. This one happens to be for Finesse. And I like how it goes into the old-timey black and white, and then she gets in her younger version. But, all right, next up, we're going to fly way up in the sky, and we're going to follow this same road that we've been following back and forth. This time we're going to follow it until it ends, though, and we're going to fly right over the top and then continue following the right side of the island. So basically, just keep going to the very tip and the right edge And eventually we'll come to this little opening here. And there's kind of like a little park area, courtyard thing here right in front of this giant building. At the end, we're going to go ahead and walk up and talk to Miss Peggy Carter. And we'll have to see what she has to say. Ooh, more SSR stuff, huh? Ooh, that's right. We got to stealthily follow a character here. We cannot be seen. And to be honest with you, I don't know if you can fail this mission. I suppose if she gets too far out of your sight, you might. But, I don't know. Maybe you cause some commotion. You might be able to throw the guy off that you're following. But look, we're standing right there. He looked right at us. And now we're just going to be about 4 steps behind him all the way down. Now, I didn't take any chances, of course. So, it is quite possible that you could ruin this mission. But I'm sure it's just as simple as going back to the beginning and cueing Miss Carter one more time. I'm sorry, Miss Carter. Woo! All right. Sorry about that. All right, moving along here. We've got lots of studdage. If you notice, too, I accidentally turned off my attract studs. Well, I didn't accidentally turn it off. When I was looking around, kind of plotting my course, thanks to our guide that Dougie provided, there was lots of information about where all of these start points are. And so I was like prepping, going back and forth, trying to follow. And I turned off the studdage, track studdage, because I was just getting all the studs everywhere I went. And my stud total was just going through the roof, and I wasn't even trying. So I turned it off for now. We'll turn it back on in a future video. But all right, we followed the bad guy all the way around to this weird building here in this opening, another courtyard. And once we get there, she walks in, gives us a nice little speech, and kicks down with the old character token for trauma. All right, so 3 down, only a couple more to go, huh? We're going to take off to the skies yet again. This one, we're kind of making, it's kind of funny how this works, because we definitely do some zigzagging, but there's kind of like this little pathway that they created in the game, which is kind of nice. And, yeah, so we're going to head back along. We've turned around, and we're heading back towards Central Park. But now that we're heading this way, we're going to stay on the right side of the area, too. And notice there's this building with this water tower on it right before this giant kind of reddish maroon building. Well, we're going to drop down right there by that water tower. And on the right side of that building, you're going to notice the Miss Carter. All right, and as you might have guessed by the name of this mission, it's utterly shocking. That's right, we're going to follow her over to a milk farm? That's a little odd. I guess I'm just used to them being called dairies around where I'm at. I don't know if you guys call them milk farms. I guess everybody's different, though, because we get jugs of milk here, but I know if you go a little further north, you get bags of milk. So it's, I guess to each their own. So, milk farm, I guess that's cool, right? I guess that's all right. But basically, we're going to follow her all the way. It's kind of a little zigzag back and forth, and all of a sudden, we walk into this Daisy Clover dairy farm. I guess that's better, huh? Isn't that what it said? And once we get inside here, we notice a few things. First off, we notice this milk truck that's glowing from the inside. So we'll do a couple of butt slams and remove all of the back cargo. Once we do that, it actually reveals some buildable bricks. So we'll flip those into a switch, and then we'll flip the switch. Once we flip that first switch, it actually looks like it. I'm not 100% sure what it did. But I know that next we have to... Oh, you know what I think it did? I think it unleashed the twirly poles on the right-hand side over there. I think that's what it did, because now we got twirly poles on the right. We can go ahead and switch to a character with the stealth ability as well as the agility ability. And in our case, the Black Widow will do just fine. And we'll jump up and we'll grab that twirly pole and, of course, spin to win. And, oh, I mounted it the wrong way. And that's never good. So we'll go ahead and get it right. And look at that. We flipped the second switch and booyakashow. The security cams are now officially disabled. And we see some more cargo in the back of this red milk truck. I don't know if it's a fire truck or just a different color milk truck or what, but we get a couple of slams, and it does take a Thor jump slam or a butt slam to go ahead and reveal some bricks, but it takes me a second. I had to walk away from it for the bricks to appear, so hopefully you'll have a little bit easier time figuring out what's going on here. The game seemed a little bit glitchy for me, but oh no, look at that, it's a ballerina cow. That's a little bit unnerving. That is utterly shocking, I gotta be honest. And that's a nice tutu you got there. Moo moo and a tutu. All right. Agent Carter, what you got for us? It looks like you got another character token for us, which happens to be for the Blue Marvel. Yet another character I have very little knowledge on as far as who they are, what they do, and all that. But anyhow, I'm trying to get better, guys. I'm trying to educate myself. All right, we're going to take to the skies yet again. And this time we're actually going to zigzag right across Central Park, and we're going to head right for that dock area again. That's kind of a central point for us, and it works out just fine, so get familiar with that. We're going to go right down the street by the dock, right by the dock, man. And we're going to head down the street a little bit. It takes me a half a second to find Agent Carter, who happens to be down and around the corner here. And look at that. There's another tricky one right in this same area, but it's all the way at the top of this building, and that really threw me for a loop, but we'll get back to that later. Now this one, we're on Mission 5 here, and let's see here. What does she need us to do? She needs us to... Oh, that's right. Give her a lift across town. And you know what I always say? You need a taxi? Just ask me. And look at that. We're going to go ahead. It takes us a half a second to figure this out. I'm actually trying to follow this little silver icon that's guiding me, but it's really just guiding me to her. And then I notice there's an Avenger hint right next to it. So I go up and smack it. And look at that. Drive any two-seater. Derp. She needs a ride. So it turns out most of the vehicles are two-seaters that roll through this area. And really, you just need to walk up and hit the icon indicated, just like most games, like Grand Theft Auto and things like that. It's triangle to enter the vehicle, or I guess it could be Y, depending on the platform you're on. Why? Because you might be playing a different console than me. That's why. All right, terrible joke. Moving on. We're going to go ahead and follow the blue ghost stud trail once we get Miss Carter in the back seat. And look at that. It's like driving Miss Daisy, except for it's driving Miss Peggy. I guess that doesn't make sense. Most of you are probably too young to even remember that movie anyways. All right, moving along now. We're going to go ahead and continue this blue ghost stud trail. It does get a little tricky, especially in this black and white scenery. You know, I got to be honest, the vehicle mechanics are not that great as you see me blow by the turn that I was supposed to make back there. And actually, as a result, I had to do an extra loop around the block, kind of. But essentially, we need to go up and around. This kind of central part of the city here has an upper area. And, yep, people in the area, you know, pedestrians, other cars, of course, you know, posts in the road, they're all in the way. So try to avoid all of that stuff. And eventually we get all the way to what I believe is Grand Central Station. I only remember that or say that because I think this is where one of the levels from Lego Marvel Superheroes took place. I remember it happening right outside of the train station here, which I believe is where we are. But, all right, complete that mission by dropping her off, and she's going to give us the old character token for Hellcat. That being said, we're going to take to the skies yet again. And this time, we're going to go to a new area. All right, so we're going to head back towards Central Park. It took me a half a second to get my bearings there. But head back to Central Park and fly along this same road that we keep traveling back and forth on. But this time we're going to cut right across the lake here, and we're going to go to this building that's kind of almost in a, I don't know what it's in it's almost like an X, but it's kind of like a cross. It's kind of like a zigzag. I don't really know what to say, but it's a funky looking building. It's made of brick. Make your way around and on the back side of it, and you'll find Miss Agent Carter down on the ground here. And this one's a pretty simple little puzzle that's just actually right here in the area. So basically, we just need to accept the mission, first off. And then we're going to take a couple steps to our left, and we notice there's some items in need of repair. So luckily for us, we know that old Tony Stark or Iron Man can go ahead and repair such things. I know there's plenty of other characters out there that can do repair as well, but we generally stick with one or two that works, and then you guys get familiar and habit of using that character, and you don't have to spend any extra money or anything. So all right, we did a butt slam. We did smash and rebuild that garbage can that was right there. And now we're repairing those bricks that we originally saw. And look, we're trying to spin to win, but it's not allowing us. What's going on here? Well, when in doubt, you always look around and see if there's any more things you can smash. And oh, look at that. There is a trash can on the opposite side of the walkway here. So we'll go ahead and smash and build that. And just as it so turns out, that's all we needed to get in there. It looks like a little Mario pipe there. We've been seeing lots of Mario Easter egg type references a lot. And I guess, you know, it is a pipe. And the only reason I feel like it just kind of looks like those green pipes. You know what I'm saying? It's got the, but I mean, I guess pipes are pipes. So anyway, moving along, we have completed the puzzle. We gave her what she needed, and she gave us a Lightspeed character token as a thank you. So next, again, we're going to take flight in the sky because it's so much easier to figure out where we are and to show you where we're going. Now, all right, on the right-hand side, heading back, see, Central Park's on our left now. So out on the right-hand side, you can see this big white object. Kind of looks like a AT-AT walker or an AT-AT. I'm sure that probably upset a lot of you Star Wars fans. Anyways, we're going to keep on keeping on, and we're going to fly all the way down to this giant Roxon power station. Now, I did not see Peggy out front there. I don't know if she hadn't loaded yet or if I just didn't see her, but turns out she's actually more towards the main entrance out there, and I'm inside the plant area here. So we're going to turn around and walk back out on the other side of that fountain, and guess what? She's going to be waiting right there for us. So we'll go ahead and speak to her, and I believe this is another bodyguard mission where we have to go in and protect her from 20 different bad guys. So, pretty easy stuff. In fact, I know it is now, and I'm remembering all of this. There's one guy that gets, like, stuck off to the side behind the fence, and Peggy and him go at it for quite a while I'm taking out all the rest of the guys, and he ends up being the final guy I take down. So, it's kind of funny. You'll see. Really, it's not that funny. It's totally a game glitch, and it could be frustrating if I wasn't able to get over the fence and get him. You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes those guys get stuck in those little cracks, and you have to reload the game or whatever the case may be in order to get that to reset. But there you can see he's over there trying to get over the fence, and now he walks down off the edge of that ledge, and now he's kind of stuck in that little area right there, and he's actually hiding. It's almost hard to see him. It looks like that post in the wall has arms there. Oh, now you can see him. But didn't it look for a second there like there was arms coming out of that cement post in the ground? But all right, there's 19. I'm like, all right, I think it's 19. Oh, not quite 19. Where are we at? 17, 18, maybe 19. That went by fast. I couldn't see. Oh, yeah. Here's the final guy. So there he is. And Carter's going at him over here, but she can't quite get to him. I can't target him, but luckily I can jump over and give him the old ka-chow. Oh, he was still only 19, so we were way short. 20 out of 20. Woohoo! She's as excited as I am. Speaking of which, we're really in the home stretch of Lego Marvel Avengers. If you guys haven't already passed me and gotten that 100%, we're getting there. You know, we've got Manhattan free roam stuff, but I mean, look how little of locked characters we have still. I mean, there's got to be less than 40 there. I mean, 40, when you get 250, 40 is pretty much the home stretch. But, all right, moving along the same side of the map, we're going to continue down that same road and go all the way to these giant buildings just short of the Statue of Liberty, or Liberty Island that's out there. And right out in front, there she is. And look at this. We're actually going for the red She-Hulk token on this one. That's pretty cool. So this one requires another vehicle. So we're going to go ahead and activate the mission. And then we're going to make our way back to the street. And then we're going to go ahead and, of course, give her a lift across town. So I found that traffic on this side was not moving at all. Or not coming or going. So I went to the other side of the street. You might have to go a couple steps away or down the way to get a car, but who knows? Oh, look at that. There's one sitting right there, right in front of me. Was that there when I walked off? That wasn't there, was it? It must have been a funny camera angle. I must have just missed it when I walked by. Anyhow, there should be a car waiting there for you, or if not, there's one on the street there. And from here, it's just a matter of simply following the Ghost Stud Trail. Now, again, it's a little bit harder to see with this black and white. You know, at least it's harder to see where it's going when it makes turns. That's where I really struggled. Luckily for us, though, we get a nice little straight stretch here. And don't be fooled by that race start there. We're going to come back and get that in a future Manhattan video. If you haven't already heard, we're going to try to split Manhattan up into about 6 or 7 areas. And, yeah, hopefully we'll get them all done and get them out. And it'll be easy peasy for everybody to follow along, too. All right, we're getting closer. We're getting closer. That's right. You can see it's all the way, it looks like across the park over there. So we're probably going to be hanging a right here pretty soon. There it is. And, oh, yep, slow it down now. You're getting a little closer. A little weaving, bobbing and weaving, zigzagging. And, oh, I found a wall there. That's never fun. That brings you to a complete stop rather quickly. Ooh, there's a nice little little weave through that street there. Dodged the car and made it through there. Oh, and look at that. We make it all the way to the dock area. I'm not exactly sure if that's the proper name for this area, but it certainly looks like a dock area. And look at that. She's excited with it. And she mentions something about a ventriloquism act. I'm not sure what's going on there. But she hops out. We get the character token for the red She-Hulk. And now we can move on to mission number 9. So we only got 2 left. And funny little side note here. So remember earlier when I mentioned that there was one that threw me for a loop? Well, this is the one, and you'll see an edit coming up right here as I head right back to the dock station again at Central Park, and I take that same turn. You know, I told you earlier in the video that was on the roof, but at the time of playing this, I had no clue this is where it was. And this is extremely tricky finding her up here. I totally thought my game had glitched. And that's why you see me flying in with Iron Man instead of Thor, because in the original cut I was Thor, and I was coming from the wrong way instead of the right way. Anyway, it's right up top from where the last mission was out here. I believe we're in the residential area. I'm not positive on that, but anyhow, it's right up on top of this building, and go ahead and accept the mission. And I'm not sure if your character will start on the other side of the fence like ours did, but hopefully it will. You're going to want to flip that first switch with your number 1 character, then switch to the character behind the bars, build up the pieces into that second switch, and flip that one. You'll notice that we've gotten 2 of the 6 lights up above us. And what we're doing is we're trying to power up that overall terminal, or actually give Miss Carter access to it. So you'll find that there on the left-hand side, there is another switch, and there's also an Avenger scan point. Go ahead and switch to a character who can complete the scan, and once you get that scan complete, you're going to find, guess what? Another switch. Actually, I think it's some bricks to build up. Oh, no, it is the actual switch. So we'll go ahead and use that once we've got it. Okay, so we've gotten the 2 in the middle, and we've gotten the 2 on the left. And you can see Miss Carter has a little bit further access down the way, which, as the pattern serves the same, the last 2 are going to be on the right, and look at that. They sure are. So hop over to the right-hand side of the building and repair the switch in the back. Flip that to get the 5th one and remove that bar in the very back. And last but not least, this other switch is right here on the right. Flip it and watch Miss Carter run up and do her thing. And eventually she gives us this character token for Stryker. Look at that. She's tuning in the stars there. Who knows? I don't know who she was really contacting. I wasn't paying attention, to be honest with you. As I always tell you, when the characters are talking right now in these little moments, I'm usually reading my notes, trying to make sure that I know what's next, so I kind of look like I know what I'm doing. So, speaking of knowing what I'm doing, another funny thing about this mission is my son called, and I had to go pick him up from school right here, right during this jump right there. And you might have noticed there was a little bit of an edit there, and I had to pause it and leave, and then I forgot to come back. I actually pulled out my video footage, edited all the way up to mission 9, and then realized, holy cow, I didn't actually do the 10th mission. So we're going to go ahead and fly over there now, and luckily for me, it didn't look like it was too much of a blunder there. And we're going to fly right over to what I believe is the hospital? I don't know, it kind of looks like the hospital, but it's just on the south side of the park, or I guess it's probably the north side of Central Park, on the pond side. That's right. And anyways, we're going to go ahead and speak to her and activate the mission. And look at this. This is another one of those weird puzzle ones. It turns out there's people being all crazy around here. And really it comes down to there's these 3 vents that are putting out toxic gases. And I didn't see the one right at the beginning, but it turns out it's right there at the start. There is an Avengers scan point right up above it on the ledge. So we're going to want to fly up to that ledge and then go ahead and initiate the scan, or I guess complete the scan rather than just initiate it. So we'll go ahead and get that done right now. And all right, hey, so far, has there been a favorite mission of Peggy Carter's? Is there something that's awesome? I'm surprised she didn't take any Hulk selfies. You know what I mean? Like, that's been a really popular thing in this game, and we didn't do any Hulk selfies. But, all right, a completed scan reveals a silver tank. We're going to go ahead and take that out with Iron Man's rockets or whatever silver brick breaker you have out. And then we're going to fly up and across the street onto the rooftop here. And we notice there's this switch in the back in need of repair. So we're going to go ahead and repair that up. And once we do, we'll flip the switch, which reveals the second silver tanks. And you can see that gross stuff that's coming out of there is not coming out anymore. And the people are starting to rest at ease here. So the next and final one is actually, in all of these, by the way, there is a little mark on all of your maps for all 3 of these. So just follow the red blips and it should get you there. This right here, that was a whoopsie. That had nothing to do with what we're doing here. And I realized that as soon as I flipped the switch, I'm like, ruh-roh. Turns out the last one is actually right there just to the left of where we started, and there's a gold wall there, and you know how much we love gold. So we'll go ahead and melt that with our heat ray. And guess what? The final silver tank is inside, and we'll go ahead and destroy that. And then we'll return back to Agent Carter, who then thanks us for our hard work and actually gives us the character token for Agent Carter retired version. So that's pretty nice. We get the old-timey version of her, and which is actually who we've been talking to all along. But every time we initiate the mission, it kind of goes flashback mode, and we get to see her younger self. So we unlocked the younger version in an earlier, I believe, a story mode. It might have been one of our free plays, but we have multiple versions of Agent Carter now, which is pretty nice. And uh-oh, you know what this screen means? That's gonna wrap it up for LEGO Marvel Avengers Manhattan Hub, where we took on all of the Peggy or Agent Carter missions in the free roam. And hopefully you guys found this video informational and a wee bit entertaining. I know that these missions starting, one right after another can be a pain in the butt if you're just kind of going along on your own, but knowing where they are and knowing what to do certainly helps out, and hopefully we provided that for you. Hey, if you guys have any questions or comments, head on over to Facebook, Twitter, comment, vote, subscribe down below. We're always around to answer questions and help you guys out. That's what we're here for. Of course, HappyThumbsGaming.com is the home of our product and gaming reviews, as well as our trophy achievement guide. So you might check it out. There's lots of good information of LEGO Marvel Avengers. We got other stuff there too. LEGO Hobbit, LEGO Marvel Superheroes. We got DC. We got all sorts of stuff there, including other games outside of LEGO. And if you'd want to see something else, let us know by dropping a comment/request. As for me, that's gonna wrap it up for now. As always, until next time. Da 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 da.